Good morning, Joe. I apologize for the noise in the background. The laundry room is not far from here, and laundry is running. Good morning, Ed. So now, with the conclusion of the base model, at least of the four-door of the Jeep, four-door version of the Jeep, which I still got to glue the seats in. But the seats in the dash aren't glued yet. But with the conclusion of that, we're ready to move on to beginning the design on the next thing. And I'm thinking a tank. Because the last episode we had, I started modeling some tank treads, and Trolling for Dollars gave me a great idea as far as how to. Good morning, Jake. Gave me a great idea as far as how to model those and make those work. And so here was the third iteration, which the fourth iteration is done, but it's mainly aesthetic. There wasn't a whole lot that I changed structurally, but they do come apart a little easier than I want, and I'm hoping I can fix that with the fourth iteration. Morning, Trolling for Dollars. Just talking about you. Here's the tank treads that came about because of your design suggestion, and I'm gonna see if I can't make that the hinge a little tougher on them, because they do come apart if you pull on them a little bit, but they do function, and you know, it's all printed. There's no hardware involved. So now that I have tank treads that work, that opens up a world of possibilities. So I'm believing the next logical step is to put that to a practical use and build a tank. That doesn't mean the Jeeps are done and behind me, because I still have the turret to design for it and things like that, and I'm having some difficulty with that, both from a creative standpoint and in making them look the way I want them to look, and then engineering wise, making the turret work the way I want it to. Morning, Rover. So yeah, there's still work to be done on that, but now that the main body and the base model of the Jeep, both in two-door and four-door variants, is done. Two-door Jeep and the four doors I showed a little bit earlier. So I'm working on tank treads right now, and that will lead to maybe a half-track design for the Jeep, as well as a full-on tank. So that's where we're at right now with that. I know when I do a half-track version of the Jeep, I'm going to have to change the design on the rear clip considerably to allow for the longer tread area there. It's fairly soon, but not. I mean, it's probably a couple weeks out at least. Mr. Butchum's not here. I figure 2 or 3 weeks probably. He hasn't been able to get them boxed up yet. He doesn't have a box big enough to fit the Tornado, so he's trying to figure that out right now. And I told him no rush. I have printers and they work. So when you get that put together, put it together, and then figure out how much the shipping is and let me know, and I'll pay for you the printers and the shipping all at once. Because I mean, I could PayPal him the money that the price for the printers, but then I just have to PayPal him again when he gets the shipping figured out. So when he gets the shipping figured, I'll just PayPal all in one lump sum and. and be done. We were a few of us were up late last night talking about a D&D campaign. I haven't played D&D in 20 years. But I thought, this Friday my wife is going to be, my wife and son are going to be in St. Louis for the weekend. So Friday night's when they're going to do it. So I'm like, well, I'll be home alone. So yeah, it'll work out that I'll have time on my hands for sure. Morning, Don. So looking forward to that. That'll be fun. Like I said, I haven't played in 20 years, so it'll be interesting. Knock the rust off. But yeah, so Jeep is done. Well, the base model of Jeep, the body and wheels and all that, you can print it. In fact, the two-door files have been up for a few days now on for the Patreon patrons, and I don't know if any of them have started downloading or printing any of that yet, but they have it available to them. Morning, Mike. So I hope everybody's doing well today, and we're going to dive into something new now. Yeah, it was probably 97, 98 last time I played. Probably 97. This is probably before my daughter was born. The last time I played, or it was before I got custody of my daughter anyway. So I guess that could have led about 6 months into, well, I guess almost to the end of 97 when I got custody of her. So yeah, I know 5th edition changed a lot of stuff, or simplified a lot of stuff, I guess. So we'll see. They no longer have the same restrictions on some stuff that they used to have. Yeah, so I guess let's dive into this. Move my chat over here. Just go to the screen share, and I just accidentally hit my chat. Pick that back up. Well, that's what we're going to do today, Don. We're going to work on that. So, file, recent, tread. So, here's where I left off on the tank. So these individual tread pieces are what I printed out here and showed you guys. I did make a couple adjustments that should make them work a little bit better, take a little bit of the stress off of the joints. The thing that I may have to print out, test, and tweak now is getting the size of this wheel exactly right so that these gears land in the little pockets there just right. So it may take a little scaling and manipulation to get that just right. But now that we've got that, you can see I put the little rib here in the center that runs into the groove on that wheel, and that should keep the treads more or less centered up so they don't slip off the track or slip off, to the side. No, that's my dryer. I'm doing laundry. So yeah, sorry for that. The laundry room is just down the hall. It's the one thing I don't like about the house is they put the laundry right in the middle of the hallway, which is strange. I thought that was weird from the moment we moved in here, but the rest of the house is great, so I'm not going to complain. All right, so I modified the wheel that I used on the Jeep to be the drive wheels for the tank, so I can use the same axle pins and stuff that I used on the Jeep. It's all a matter of trying to keep that consistency across models so that stuff is interchangeable and usable. I gotta clean this up real quick because I got a half full soda can sitting in the way that I know I'm gonna knock over. All right. Oh, and I finally got me a set of calipers yesterday. Yay! Been needing those. Ta-da! Come in a nice little case and everything. So. I've got calipers now. I did not buy a multimeter yet. I didn't do it. Yeah, Joe was telling me how long he'd had his calipers. I said, I'll have mine lost before the end of the month. I lose stuff. Or I set it down someplace, and we're famous in this house for I put that where I wouldn't forget it, and then you forget where you put it. You know, I need to put this somewhere where I won't forget it. I keep saying we need to create a box and like put it in the closet or something and label the box where I won't forget it. And every time those words come out of your mouth, you just go put the thing in the box. Yeah, every time you say, we need to put this where we won't forget it. We'll have a box labeled where I won't forget it. Of course, I think that box would fill up pretty fast. I don't know. All right, so let's now, one thing I haven't learned how to do in Blender yet, and I've been meaning to watch a video on it, is you can create a spline and wrap an array around the shape of that spline. I haven't watched a tutorial on that to learn how to do it yet, so for now, that's just where the treads are going to be. But the nice thing about an array is once you get it set up, I set up the array and the offsets in the array so that the pins line up in the middle of the hole where they're supposed to be. And then all I got to do to increase the number of treads is up the count. So once I figure out how to do it around a shape, around a spline, oh, I got a little quieter. I think the dryer just finished. So anyway, it'll, you know, take them around that spline, and then as I increase the number, it'll just go over until it matches or comes close. And then when we get it real close, that's where you'll know you'll have the right number, because I'll need to design one of these wheels to have like spring loaded tension on it, so it'll keep the treads tensioned. So I'm still not sure how to do that. That's going to be the next engineering challenge. But having the treads to this point was, you know, was probably my biggest engineering hurdle. I don't think the spring loading one of the wheels is going to be that hard. Right. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Is you spring load it so that one wheel wants to push outward, but when you push it in, it'll take the tension off of the treads, so you can take them off. Then you would push that in, loop the treads over it, and when you let it go, it would tension back out and hold tension on the treads. And then you have the bogey wheels that go in between these wheels that don't have the gears on them, that are just there to support the tread. And they'll probably look a little different. But yeah, that's where we are. All right, so I'm going to save the tread there, and we're going to move to a new file. And now that we're on this new file, I'm going to go to text editor, open, get our key screencast going, run script, go back to 3D view, start display. Yeah, in this day and age, it'd be hard to find a VCR to look at, Rover. But no, very similarly to the way an idler pulley works on the engine of a car. A bit of a shade tree mechanic. All right, the next thing we're going to do is ring cut it this way, and ring cut it in the center. Delete those vertices. And then we are going to go here, tab out, add modifier, mirror. There we go. Now we're mirroring. There's a guy that makes these pretty impressive 3D printed tanks. They're much larger scale than what I'm doing, but they're remote control. Um, Spiker Workshop. I don't know if you guys have seen his YouTube videos, and it's Spiker, Spyker. But anyway, he makes these remote controlled tanks that he equips them with blades and snow blowers and stuff to clear snow, and they're heavy duty things, man. They're tough as nails. And the tensioner he did is the same type of design I'm talking about, where the front or rear wheel just travels this way on a spring. Now, what I want to do is try to make it a 3D printable spring if possible. I prefer all my stuff to not require additional hardware, everything to be printable. Yeah, Ivan's tanks are really cool too. I haven't watched all of his most recent tank, the little one that does wheelies. Yeah, Ivan's got 3D printed springs. I don't know how well those spring designs would scale. I guess one way to find out would be to try it. All right, we're going to go ahead and save for vehicle designs, unsorted. Now we'll go ahead and sort it. We'll, tanks. Directory. Tank one for now. Don't have a name for it yet. Let's open the treads. Just copy them. Just give us an idea of some scale and stuff while we work with this, because the wheels and the treads are already in scale. Oh, we lost screencast when I unloaded that. Okay, sorry. Sorry, guys. Run that script again. Back to 3D view. Start display and screencast. There we go. All right. So what we'll have to do is we'll mount the wheels, the geared wheels on the ends, and then we'll mount the bogey wheels in the middle, which I wish I had. I wish I had my Mobat in here to kind of look at and draw from a little bit. Let's see. Get some images pulled up here to use as some reference. Good morning, Brian Vines. How are you doing this morning, sir? Hey, yeah, I'm in the same boat, man. There will be a nap in my future before I leave for work today, I think. I think it's going to be necessary. And guess what? For a 5th day in a row, it's raining here. All right, trolling. See you in a bit, man. Drive safe. And I don't know that I'm keeping any of this yet, so. Don't judge too harshly. Oh, it's too early for dad jokes. Because this early yet, they're funny. Oh. No, I don't like that. Okay. See, this is the problem I run into by not planning stuff out ahead. So, my advice: don't be like me. Plan your designs out ahead of time. Let's get rid of that. Vertices. Oh, not delete. Vertices. There we go. Now fill that hole back in. So anyone who's wondering how to fill holes, and just select two edges across from each other and hit F to create a face. Yeah, and that may end up being the best course of action, Brian, is a one-piece tread that's printed out of TPU. I'm trying this first. If that doesn't work, then I will certainly visit that. Yeah, some more clearance. Right, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah, I don't know, Rover. Like I said, a lot of this is going to be learning as we go. All right, Brian. Careful heading to work, man. I also thought maybe I'll learn something about turret design when I have to design the turret for the tank. And a larger platform to work with and then scaling it down. So what's everybody else working on right now? Has anybody got any cool projects in the pipeline that they're willing to talk about? John's not here. Glad to have you not with us today. Don's working on a Star Citizen Hornet spaceship. Extrude scale along the X. Scale that out a little bit. Let's grab those. Slow down. Scale X. "91 hours of printing and more to go." It's quite a bit of printing, Don. I didn't keep track of how many hours of printing, was involved in either Jeep, but I know there was quite a lot, especially in the four-door. Today all I got left to do is need to glue down the interior in this. Yeah, I'm afraid it would depress me if I kept track. Yeah, let's not do that yet. Because I need to articulate the turret gun. Moving up and down. Yeah. Okay. Everywhere I turn, new sets of challenges. Let's get some materials on this stuff so that it looks pretty. Sometimes helps with the creative process. If you're looking at stuff in color while you're doing it. So I'm going to have to work on the mounting system for the axles under there. So I need to slide that up a little bit for now. Ah. I didn't mean to undo that. No? How do you do? How do you redo? Alright, I'll just have to redo it the old-fashioned way. Looking for, that's what I was looking for. We want blended render, we want cycles render. Cursor. Fire mirror. The Y, not the X. Mirror. Mirror. All right. I know it seems silly, but sometimes just being able to view things a little bit more helps. We haven't saved in a while. Save. Later, Don. All right, so now we got a spot where we can build in the articulation point to move a turret up and down, the gun barrel up and down. Might have to figure out some sort of ratcheting joint for that so that when you put the gun barrel up, it stays in position. Right now we're just kind of doing a preliminary fleshing out of the basic shape. I know it's probably not looking like much of a tank yet. I can see it in my head. I'm just trying to what I see in my head, make it a reality on the screen. Morning, Ben. How you doing this morning, Ben? Is it raining up your way? It is raining here today for the 5th consecutive day. It all starts feeling a little depressing, you know? Let's try something. Let's try something. It's flooding in like just about any place. It's a valley right now because it's just so much rain in 5 days. You don't want to live at the bottom of one of the hills in Tennessee. And there are lots of hills in Tennessee. Sounds like a song title. Maybe it should be a song title. What the? Pushed the wrong thing there. No, I don't like that. I don't know. What do you guys think so far? Not entirely happy with it, but I think I can still save it. That's the problem with my process, is that my process is totally not precise in any way, shape, or form. It's all just coming straight off the top of my head. Scale X. No. Scale Y. Let's not do that. Like that. Like that at all. There we go. That's kind of cool. A lot of detail and stuff will have to be kind of carved into this as I go. I need to bring my Chris Riley coaster down here. It's still upstairs. It looks like that turret should clear all that as it swivels around. Okay, so we got to articulate the gun moving up and down. We got to articulate the turret moving around. We got to build the connection for the wheels below the tank and the bogey wheels. And we got to put a tensioner on the wheels for the tread. But it's coming together. So in our first hour, we have fleshed out the basic structure of the tank. There's still a whole lot of work to be done, but we've got the basic shape in, and now it's just a matter of spending a great deal of time making all the engineering parts of it work, and then adding detail. And I'll probably redo that gun because I hate it. I don't like it. It looks like an elephant's trunk. So you're going to feed the tank peanuts. I'll have to hollow out the inside of the turret so the figure can go down inside, and then make the mechanism that extends down into the body large enough to accommodate the figure in this position here. So that as he sits down in there, this part will actually extend down into the body of the tank, and then this part will sit up in the turret, but everything will be attached to the turret and rotate with it. Thanks, buddy. I was just saying, though, I don't like the gun I have on it right now. I think it looks like an elephant's trunk. And maybe that's the color of it is making me think that, but I feel like I'm going to feed the tank peanuts, not that it's going to shoot me. And that it would run away from mice. Oh, I am sick to death of it raining, I tell you. 5 days in a row of rain. I couldn't handle living like in rainy climate like Seattle or London, someplace where it seems to rain all the time. It's gloomy and rainy all the time. I could handle like the kind of rain they get in Florida where it clouds up and rains for 15 minutes and then it goes away as quickly as it showed up. I could handle that, but this cloudy all day, raining all day for 5 days, I mean, it's depressing. It is. I get it. And it's not like I'm even someone who goes outside the house a lot. It's not like I'm missing going out, and doing stuff outdoors because I'm not the outdoorsy type anymore. I don't like it as much as I used to. Part of getting older, I guess. I used to spend all my time outdoors. I mean, very little indoor time. But now, as I get older, I don't want to go outside. Maybe it's because as you get older, you know what's out there. Hmm. Let's see what it looks like for a minute. Nope, don't like that. Nope, don't like that. Just delete it. Okay, just curious. Yeah, so I'm going to redo this gun. It'll sit here for now, but I don't like it. The more I look at it, and again, elephant trunk. What's that? The tank's coming. That's kind of interesting. Nah. Trying to do something to make the back look a little more interesting. The back of the turret. Yeah. All right, well. Down here, get rid of that. You guys are following along with the key presses. I'm just filling these holes by selecting two edges across from each other, hitting F to make a face, filling in the holes. That's why we got screencast now. So that if I get to, something strikes me and I start doing it, and forget to tell you guys, you can at least see the keys I'm pressing down here in the lower left-hand corner of my screen. That way, if you guys go, well, I wonder how he did that, you can go back and watch the video later, hit pause, and you will see the exact keys I hit. And as you get more comfortable with this stuff, you know, you'll find that it's really not that hard. It's not bad at all. Now I want the bogey wheels to look different. Ah. Circle select tool, when you select stuff, you accidentally select something, hold down the shift key and go back over it and you'll get rid of it. So yeah, circle select is just hit C and you hit your mouse button. And when you're done, you hit escape to stop selecting. This is going through a lot just to make the bogey wheels look different. It'd be so much easier just to copy the wheel, take the gear studs off of it, and be done. And it would work. Just wouldn't do what I want it to do. You know what I ought to do when I get... No, because I've already altered the scale of it. Never mind. Oh, but I haven't altered the inner diameter scale of the axle, so I had to save this, just this part here, and then I'd have a nice wheel blank to start with. Hey, Chris Riley, how's it going today, man? I can't even talk today. Joe Paddock and company kept me up late. Oh, we got to do a Google Hangout talking about. I'm gonna play D&D on Friday. I haven't done that in 20-something years, so they were kind of walking through the process. We were all talking about everything, and end up staying up with them until about midnight, and then I had the whole creative thing flowing after talking to him. So I downloaded the app that he told me to download to create a character, created it, and then sketched it because, well, that's what I do. So I didn't go to bed till like 2:30 this morning, and then the alarm went off at 6. The alarm went off at 6, and my wife said, if you can stay up late with your friends, you can get up and go to school. Get up and take your son to school. I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go to school. Don't make me. Oh. So let's see here. Make the bogey wheels bigger or look beefier, I guess. I wonder if that would work out well. It's going to be a long process to go through and find out it doesn't, but let's find out together. What version of Blender? 2.79b. Was originally due out in October, but they've pushed it back to January now. Oh, version of D&D 5, right, Joe? If you're still here. 5th edition. Oh, that might be kind of cool. Hold on. See what that looks like. Yeah, let's go with that. I like that. So as you can see, I'm sure there's a hotkey for it. Get that out of the way. But if there's ever anything you're looking for and you can remember what it's called, but you can't remember where to find it, you hit the space bar, you just type it in. I wanted to bridge edge loops, so I just typed in bridge, and there it is. And you click it, and done. Blender makes it super easy to find stuff. And then it remembers it from the last thing that you searched for, and then you hit spacebar again, you hit spacebar and enter to repeat the process the next time. Spacebar, enter. And that's why I love Blender. One of the many reasons. Now, one of the things I don't like about Blender is when you select something, sometimes this little tool to grab and move stuff around gets in the way. And you'll accidentally grab it and slide something you didn't mean to slide. There you go. All right. G, Y. Tap. All right. Made some wheels that won't be gearing themselves into the treads. They're just there to guide the treads and help them hold their shape, essentially. So aside from the gun looking like an elephant's trunk, what do you guys think with the rest so far? And I need to go learn after the stream today. I'll go look up and learn how to wrap the array for the treads around a spline, and I'll put a spline around the wheels. And Brian Vines is back. He's back. And so he's back from outer space. Wait. So I think we'll get a better understanding of the visual once I get the undercarriage built, that the axles will be on for the wheels, and can wrap the treads all the way around, so we'll see what they look like wrapped around the wheels. And I'm still struggling with, I may end up having to make the treads a solid piece and print them out of TPU. Because I do think, as was mentioned before, that would be the more reliable, sturdier way to go. Brian got it. You guys get me. It should be a scary thought. So yeah, as I said before, my vehicle designs essentially are inspired by and pay homage to the GI Joe toys I grew up with. GI Joe. That's a totally different toy line. The GI Joe toys that I grew up with, and so this one is kind of my thought as I designed stuff to pay homage to them, was to kind of go year by year, start at the beginning. And so the Jeep, the VSV, which stands for Variable Support Vehicle because it has many different configurations coming, was to pay homage to the Vamp. And so that's where the VSV was born in my head, to replace the Vamp if I was to sit down and try to design my own that works with the modern era figures. But all of my vehicles, I try to make them modular so that they're upgradable. They have different configurations, and so then the 4-door version was born out of that, which became blue because the khaki I got from Paramount didn't work. But Paramount is a stand-up company and sent me another roll because I could not get that roll to print for nothing. And that might be cool. That might be cool, Chris. Make these cyborg-looking kangaroos with guns and stuff all over. G.I. Joey. Speaking of Joey, where's my Joey? Joey! He worries me when I don't see him for a while. How you doing, Clyde? So anyway, where I was going with that is this tank is kind of paying homage to the Mobat. The mobile battle tank or whatever, but it's shortened to Mobat. And so I've still got a lot of work to do to get there, but it's on its way. Because I thought what I'll do is I'll start from the beginning and reimagine, re-engineer, reinterpret every vehicle that they had to offer. And so the Vamp was 1982, and so was the Mobat. So we're reimagining 1982 right now. I never played Command and Conquer. And good morning, Michael Castle. Is it Castle or Cassell? I don't want to butcher your name. Thanks, Clyde. So yeah, the thing that was holding me back was not knowing if I could design tank treads, but thanks to help from like cassette tape. Okay, so Cassell. Thanks to Trolling for Dollars helping me with the engineering of it, I was able to design and get a functioning, snap together tank tread. Now, I will say it's probably not going to be the most durable of tank treads. So, that being said, if that fails, what I will do is remodel it to be a solid piece and just print it out of TPU, which I believe my ANET will handle the TPU okay, because it's direct drive. Command and Conquer Red Alert. I will. You can do that now, I suppose. Oh, cool. Yeah, they get some cool tank designs in there. I am going to have to model some other tanks as I go anyway. So this will just be the first of hopefully many. Ivan's treads, he does have them down, but they do use hardware, and his that are at a larger scale and use hardware, I think shrinking them down to the scale that I need them at, which is, as you can see, pretty small. Putting hardware in them would be, you know, pretty time intensive and difficult. Well, I don't want to copy anybody else's design verbatim, because I don't want to run into at some point in time a cease and desist for copyright infringement or anything like that. And besides that, you know, it's a better exercise, creatively speaking. There we go. Creatively speaking, it's a better use of your imagination and better exercise of your mind to try to come up with something. It can be inspired by something else, but if you're still making it all from scratch, you know, I think it gets the creative juices flowing a little bit better. Yeah, I thought about that too. But again, I thought about the pain of sitting down and having to work that into each one of the treads. Well, this is designed so that when you get the tread at 90 degrees, that slides out. But the slot, because this is oval shaped, the slot allows you to insert it at 90 degrees, but then when you turn it off of 90, because it's oval shaped, it's too big to fit back through the slot, and so it locks in. And that was Trolling for Dollars that gave me that idea, and then I executed it, hopefully decently. My problem is I did have a good amount of a failure rate. I would say probably 1 out of every 4 I break while trying to snap them together, because the first time you snap them together, it's difficult. Then they become easier after they've been worked in a little bit. Yeah, and Michael, that is probably the route I'm going to go with these, because like I said, I try to keep my designs modular so that you can print different pieces and make something that looks different. Because I will go back and as I move forward, there are times where in G.I. Joe's line where they just repurposed an old model and updated the tooling a little bit. And when they do that, I will just go back and repurpose an old model and update the design a little bit. Like from the Vamp, they went to the Vamp Mark II, and the Vamp Mark II added a hardtop roof and doors and a missile launcher instead of the gun. and they just, they went back and revisited an old model and retooled it a little. And I've already to some extent done that with the VSV, because I do have a hard top you can put on it. I do have door extensions you can put on it. I never thought about that, but I guess I could. Well, Mr. Butcham, right now I don't have that carved in yet, but I'm going to cut that into the top here. Let me pull up a window over here and bring it over here so you guys can see it. G.I. Joe Mobat. A picture of it. So there's the Mobat, which I'm reimagining my own version. But you can see how the figure sits down in the top of the turret. And I plan to make mine extend so that the circle part extends down through the body, so that the figure should be able to sit all the way down in, but still rotate the turret. If that makes sense. Yeah, he sits on the elephant trunk. That's what that still looks like to me. So I'm still not happy with that. I'm going to do something with that. Yeah, pretty much. But I want to make it so that in a seated position like this, the figure can be inserted all the way to maybe just the top of his head sticks out above the turret, and then put a closable like lid canopy thing over his head. So a lot of that will come down to when I get to the scaling portion of the model, and may have to stretch and change some things. Right now we're at the basic shape, just kind of getting the basic shapes down and starting on the basic engineering, and then as we get into detail work and scaling, because that's kind of the process that I go through with all of these is first just get the basic rough shape down, and then start getting the engineering stuff down, and then go back and get the final detailing and scaling right, and then once you're there, print it. So we're still going to be a ways off from printing this. And I may find that I need to move the bogey wheels down and make a tilt to the tread so they come down like that. We'll see. a lot of things could change between now and then. Right now, I want to keep that kind of low slung look to it. Oh, Brian, canopy. That's great, dude. That's awesome. I don't have any plans for that at the moment. Largely because I don't believe these snap fit treads could even potentially hold any kind of real pressure or torque being put on them by a motor. I think it would just snap the pins inside in a heartbeat. You guys are silly. But yeah, I mean, we got the basics of the tread down, or I mean the tank. Basics of the tank down, the body shape, the main body of the turret, which I may have to thicken that up in order to give enough room for the character to be seated all the way down in there. And another thing that I was thinking might be handy is just have a hide this for a second. Have a seat and stuff in here, and just put the turret over the top of it. I don't know. But then I think it might be hard to reach your fingers down in there and fish the figure out and put the figure in. We'll probably just stick with that original idea of having it open here, having it designed for the figure to sit so that his head is about here. His body comes down and whoop, body comes down into there, legs into here, and then design the turret so that it's got a large enough opening to pass through. Yeah, probably something similar to that, Rover. Probably taking and make it so that the bottommost ring is larger of the turret is just slightly larger than the hole that it needs to go through, and then slotting that so that when you put pressure on it, it will slotting it and beveling the edge so that when you put pressure on it, it'll squeeze that in just a little bit and then pop back out and expand on the other side, and should lock it into place. Similarly to the way the ends of the axle are on this, they mushroom out a little bit, and then there's a slot cut in the middle so that as you press, it allows the end of the axle to flex in just a little bit, and then the axle shaft, when it pops through the tire, that expands back out and then is locked on the wheel. You can't pull the wheel back off. And trust me, I broke one of the axles on my two-door Jeep the other day and had to reprint it because I lost my footing and I kind of sat on it and broke one of the axles. In order to get the axle back out of the wheel, I've tried pulling it out and it wouldn't come off. The axle shaft snapped off inside the wheel. I had to get my drill out and drill the axle shaft out of the inside diameter of the wheel, and they were in there good. It would definitely, once you snap that together, it's not coming back apart. And so I think I could do something very similar, just maybe require more than just the one slot to allow that to flex. And as it pushes through and pops back out, it'll lock into place. But then the diameter on the inside of that, above that bottom ring, would be smaller than the diameter of the opening in the body, so it would allow it movement this way. And it's coming down, raining out there hard. Day 5 of rain. And I'm playing on the rooftop tonight. Which, I mean, the part that I play in is covered. I mean, half of it's covered. But still, days like this don't scream, let's go hang out on the rooftop. So it probably won't be a big crowd tonight, unless it stops raining. But after 5 consecutive days of rain, I have no, I don't have any high hopes of that. Because it feels like it's just going to rain forever right now. I haven't looked at the forecast, though. I'm old enough to be one of those old men sitting around looking at the weather all the time. I just don't. All right, guys. Well, we're at that 2-hour mark. So it's, I guess, time to wrap it up. I'll go hang out over in Discord with you guys here for a little while, and so if anybody wants to hang out on Discord and chat, we can do so. And appreciate you guys stopping by. Links are below to support the channel. Never required, always appreciated. All that stuff, you know, it is what it is. I don't do this for that. I do this because I enjoy modeling stuff. I enjoy making stuff, and hope you guys enjoy watching me model and make stuff. And Rover's got a giveaway that there's 2 days left on for CraftBot Plus 3D printer. Thanks for anybody who hit the thumbs up button, and subscribe if you're not, if you want to keep seeing me make elephant trunk looking turrets on tanks and stuff like that. And John's still not here, and Mr. Buttram's still not here. And soon I will not be either, because I think we've reached our time. But thank you all so much. You guys are awesome, and I appreciate y'all very much. And we'll see you on Mike Whaley has his stream tomorrow, and then I'll see you guys on Tuesday on my next stream. Between then. So anyhow, thank you all so much. Chris Riley, Ryan Buttram, Brian Vines, John, you do it, Rover, Matt Johnson, Michael Cassell, sorry, and Trolling for Dollars was here. Anybody else? Hopefully I didn't miss too many people. I know Mike Whaley came in. Don, the German printing nerd, was here. Everybody who stopped by, I thank you all very much. You guys are awesome, and the reason that I do this. So we'll see you next time.